So now I'll be opening up my Lexus headlights to basically move this yellow DRL I have wrapped over the headlight and basically wrapping the actual DRL module underneath. Because if you look from certain angles, you won't be able to see the yellow. Now the sticker only covers a certain amount and the light disperses all over the place. So unless you're looking at the headlights dead on, like from here, they're not yellow. They're more of like a white-ish hue, which I basically want to change that by wrapping the actual piece yellow on the inside so it has a perfect yellow DRL. So I got these from Vinyl Flare. Here's the wrap I'll be using. It's basically just a yellow, big yellow sticker. I don't want to unroll it, but you can see what it is. So I'll show you guys how to do that. It's very easy, but first you're going to want to remove your headlights. So these are aftermarket, but I believe it's the same thing. So there's a bolt here, there's a bolt right here, and then there's one on the side right there. Once you remove those three and pull this off of the car, now you're gonna have to remove the bracket from the underside. So I'm holding it up right now so it doesn't, smash on the table, but I have a bunch of little 10 mils. So 1, 2 right there, and then 3, the silver one. Once you remove all 3 of these, this little bracket will come out from underneath and we'll get to heating up the headlights. Now this is what I'm going to be using. This is the classic heat gun I have in all of my videos. I'll put it on screen right now. It's basically just a Home Depot one. All you need is the little switch right there and then to plug it in. And basically what we're going to be doing is heating up this outer seal of the headlight. So you can see right here, I've already done it once or twice. I reseal these headlights, just change stuff. And you can see right there's a little goo and whatnot, because that's the seal that we made. So by heating it up and then using screwdrivers like flatheads and stuff like that, and also X-Acto knives, we're basically going to pry this glass, like plastic front part off the lens, and then basically we'll be able to take apart the inside of the headlight and start wrapping stuff. This is the sealant I'll be using. I'll throw it on screen right now. I believe it was about $10 a pack, and I got it from AutoZone, and this is what we'll be using to reseal it. So you're going to need about a bottle will probably get you 2 headlights, but I wanted to be safe and just get 2 because last time I almost ran out. So I'll be using a pair of gloves. These are just normal, I guess, automotive gloves while I'm heating this up, just so I don't burn my hand. But basically, I'm just going to be moving the heat gun along this edge until it gets pretty warm, and then I'm going to start trying to get a screwdriver, like a flathead, into the edge to start prying it off. Also run the risk of melting the actual lens, which you don't want to do, or else you have to get new lenses. It's a whole mess. So what you're going to want to do is basically heat it up evenly all around one side. So let's say we do from here to like here. You want to heat that all up pretty evenly. Heat out here a little bit just to get it all nice and warm. Then when you're prying, don't just pry completely off one side because you will definitely crack your lens. You want to pry it up slowly and start moving your way around so it all starts to gradually come off as one piece, or at least do basically one half start to peel off and then start doing the other half. Because if you just do like a little section like the corner and start pulling it up, it's just going to bend the lens and basically crack it. One big thing you're going to have to do before you start unsealing it is these little screws. They're all around the perimeters. 1, 2, 3 right there that I could see. Okay, so after splitting it, you're going to want to take your time, and then heat is your best friend. So basically, I heated up this corner to start off with, got it nice and gooey. I started kind of pushing it away from each other until it got somewhat loose. Then I moved to this corner. I got this, about the same thing, started heating it up, started putting a screwdriver down the edge, kind of break up the glue. Then I started moving into this more center area, and then I started pulling from this side. It's pulling it a little bit, and it all started to unpeel slowly. And once it starts to unpeel, you're going to want to grab a screwdriver, but preferably an X-Acto blade or just any kind of knife, and basically run it through here. So there'll be glue that's kind of still stringed across. It's going to want to hold it. You just slice that through, and it'll make it 10 times easier to pull apart. So now once you have it off, you're going to want to look on the inside. It's pretty hard to show because you don't want to unplug these wires. So now once you have it split, it's still going to be connected from these wires. You don't really need to move them. But see that little screw right there? I'm trying to zoom in on it. But see that little screw right there? You're going to want to unscrew that. And then I believe there's a few more on the bottom. So there's one there and one at the end. Those 3 have to come out for this little DRL section to just pop right off. And then once it's off, then we can get to wrapping. Okay, so although this does look pretty cool without the lens on, I'll show you the lens right over here. So here's the lens. I'm going to obviously clean up the inside and the outside and try to get some of this glue off the edge because there's quite a lot from my other time resealing. Then once I'm done, I'll peel off the yellow, clean up this, and then here is the lens. This looks so cool without the lens on. Obviously, you see the little triple beam, which I love. But my whole objective is basically getting yellow tint right there that I have over there. I'll unroll it, show you guys how I do it. But basically putting it around the little check mark right here, and only the check mark. So if you look right here, this is the turn signal, sequential, all that. Here's the triple beam, so the low beam, the high beam with that, all of that. So you can see these lines I made. Basically, this is the highest, and this is the lowest, I guess you could say. So if you're looking at the headlight, see how this swoosh goes up, it curves up, so you can't just make a straight sliver like this, because then that straight sliver is going to go like this. You're going to go here, it's gonna go like that. And you're gonna have to heat up the middle section and bend it up, and trust me, it's a mess. That's what happened on my, on my main section right here on the outside. I basically had to heat up this corner right here, and you could see really close there's some bubbles, so it didn't come out perfect. Now my plan is to basically make a section that's big enough to basically have this bottom swoosh and also the top in one big sliver. So the sliver's gonna go like this. It's gonna be like that basically. So then I could just cut out perfectly and it'll bend accordingly without having to heat it up, hopefully, at all. Okay, so here's basically my first try wrapping it. I really do like how it came out. There are a few little bubbles you can see. Not really. I mean, if you look at an angle, there are a few tiny little bubbles, but you have to remember, these headlights are going to be inside of a case, so they're already going to be like 3 inches away from your face. And unless you are literally, your head is like this far away from the light, there's no way in seeing how these have little defects. Like you could also see up here, I have to clean up a little bit. But I did actually have a little incident up here where I messed up the corner where I cut it. So what I did was basically add another piece right here. I have to cut it out a little better to basically cover this end. And obviously, you guys probably didn't even notice it from more than literally 5 inches away. So now, ignoring that the lens is really dirty with all sorts of glue, because I did peel off the old yellow, I guess, tint strip that I had, so I will have to clean this off. But anyways, this is just a mock-up. It's not glued on or anything. But I feel like this looks 1,000 times better than it did before. So here, you might look at this, see how it's inside the glass. This looks perfect. Now we look over here, this is the old thing. It's literally just a sticker. So I've not tried that one yet, but this one is coming along basically perfectly. This looks so good. So now we're on to the resealing step. So after you clean off the inside of the lens, so I know the outside obviously is dirty, but that doesn't really matter. The inside you want to make sure is basically spotless, so that when you put everything back together, you clean off the top, there's not a little dust or a little stain or something on the inside of the lights. So now with it opened up still, I just have it kind of like on top. This is the adhesive I'll be using. So I'm using it because I obviously resealed them before, and this is what the seal looks like when it's done. When it dries, it turns into this rubber, like stretchy sort of material, which is actually really good at keeping water out. So as you can see, it literally came off in little chunks, and I can't obviously pull it with both hands, but this is very strong. So now what I'm going to be doing is basically opening this up and putting it inside of this little crease all the way around, and then compressing the light with my hands and holding it for about, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes to make sure it seals. And I didn't remove all of the glue that was stuck on here from the last 2 times I've done it. I did remove any that like may have slept into the inside, but I'm leaving most of it because that'll just help it create a better seal at the end of the day. So here's a little side by side. Obviously the one I just did has a little bit of glue on it from the old vinyl, which I will get some goo gone and obviously clean at the end. But just looking at it, this I just sealed. Basically I put a little bead all the way around and then compressed it and basically laid on top of the light onto the table to compress it all the way in. And now I waited about, I don't know, about 4 or 5 minutes, and it seems pretty sealed. So I will let it sit until I'm done with the other one, obviously. Then if I see any big cracks that look like they could be leaks, I will just get a little bead and put a little more inside. But here they are side by side. So here's the one I did. You can see the yellow DRL looks absolutely perfect. And then the old one. So the old one, you could kind of tell it's just a sticker. And even from here, this one does look 1,000 times better than that. And I'm not done with these. Once I'm done, obviously, with the other light, and I'm finished with this one, I do plan on wrapping the top in a little black sleeve to basically make this look even more like a 4IS. So now this is how I'm going to make them even a little more custom. So you can see right here, I already laid my knifeless tape all the way around here, and I'm basically going to put a big eyelid to look like the 4IS headlights, which I'll throw on screen right now. They're a lot sleeker, and they definitely look a lot better, and this black wrap obviously matches my black car. So I'm going to put a sliver here, sliver on this side, and then something right at the bottom to just make them look a little sharper. So I didn't want to waste any extra wrap, so I am slightly short with this piece I just had lying around, but it's no problem because I do plan on putting a piece like this sideways covering this side section. But here's a knifeless tape. So first you're going to want to use your fingernail to basically split the string from the actual tape. And then when you're about to pull it, you want to stick your fingers like this, one on each side, and then have your other finger basically pull that string through. Then once you get enough slack, you want to wrap it around one of your fingers, or even 2 if you can, and then it'll be way easier to go all the way through. And when you do it, definitely take your time and make sure the wrap is perfectly down, like squeegee it out and everything. If you don't, then it's just going to be really hard because the wrap is going to move whenever you pull the string. So after pulling it through, now you can start peeling off the other side. So you got to remember which side you did, obviously, and then just yank it the opposite way. So it's hard to do with one hand, but you kind of see what I'm doing. Yank it down. But when you get to the end, don't forget you might have a little section that didn't cut all the way, so you will need to get your X-Acto knife and zip it like that, and then this will come right off. So I finally finished putting my yellow DRLs, and then I also ended up putting up this black wrap all the way across. So I have a little eyelid on top, little slit at the bottom, and then a little side piece. It's really hard to see because the headlights are off and they're also black, which doesn't help, but they came out fantastic. This looks absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait to put this on the car.